Hi friends, it's Terri Gaines. In this video, I'm going to give you all the assembly details for my September 2023 Fun Fold project. You receive a packet free with a $30 purchase. In the packet, you receive all the materials for a full-size card, an instruction postcard, and all the materials for a miniature card to assemble and attach to the postcard. Plus, I email you a PDF with photos and the supply list, along with a video link, a link to this video. Before I get started on sharing the assembly, I want to talk about the card and all the materials I use to prep the packet. The card is called a Z-fold hidden message card. So the card base has a Z-fold and it folds flat to fit in the envelope. Plus it will open up and sit really nicely on a table or a desk for display, and then opens up with a message here. So this is a decorative part. So to sign the card, there's the inside part of the card. This is where the hidden message is. This is where you can add another inside sentiment and sign the card. And there's a little stopper to help keep that closed so it displays really nicely on a mantle, desk, or table. As I mentioned, I want to give you some details. I want to talk about the product that I used to create the packet. You are going to need your own stamps and ink and adhesive. I'll talk about that in a moment. The product I used to prepare the packet, all the embellishments for the main card are from a new die set called Autumn Leaves Dies, which is in the new September through December mini catalog, which starts, customers can order from starting September 6th. So I use these dies for the embellishment on those. I actually use the stamp set for my sentiments, and you can choose any type of sentiments you want for your card. I have the one for the little banner in the packet. You're going to want to stamp that. I used Cajun Craze for my ink pad color, and I have two inside sentiments for that card. The textured portion of these pieces are from a new embossing folder. This is called Distressed Tile, also in that same mini catalog. It's part of the suite of product, and I have several pieces that are texturized. You'll notice some of the pieces have a rugged edge or a deckled edge. I use the deckled rectangle dies. These are in the annual catalog, and I use these. Now the measurements on the instruction card happen to work out perfect, that you can cut some of these pieces out with the deckled dies, or you can cut them out with your paper trimmer. Now you're going to be noticing that the leaves are cut with a beautiful specialty paper. That is a new specialty paper also in the mini catalog. It is called Oxidized Copper 12 by 12, and you get two each. One has got copper matted and foiled, and one's got pretty peacock copper and a matte color. So this is a beautiful paper. Anytime we use specialty papers, I like to maximize those, and they work perfect for these leaf dies. While I'm talking about product, I'm also going to talk about the product I use for the miniature card. I did stamp one of the rectangles with a small sentiment. I use the go-to greetings, the hello and Night of Navy. And I'll talk about these pieces, which ones I assembled, in a moment. The designer series paper in that packet is from the Countryside End 12 by 12 paper. This is in the annual catalog. It's got a variety of the different Stampin' Up blue colors, and the beauty of the Stampin' Up product is the designer series paper coordinates with cardstock, ink pads, and a lot of different product. Be careful when you open up your packet. There's some little embellishments. These are from the 2023, 2025 in color dots. There's 5 different colors, 3 different sizes. I have used these a lot, and I don't have a full packet, but you have the medium and the small in here for the little miniature card. So that's the product that I used for getting the material all prepped for the packet. As I mentioned, you need your own stamp sets and ink, and in your packet for the main card, you're going to want to find these two pieces They're identical in size, and stamp your inside sentiments, and then this banner. And then for the miniature card, it's the two rectangles the same size. They're oriented this direction. You want to stamp them. The adhesive you want handy is a double-sided adhesive. I'm using the Stampin' Seal. You're going to want some mini glue dots and some dimensionals, and you're going to need a bone folder. I'm going to also use my Take Your Pick tool along with my silicone craft mat. So that's the logistics of the packet. I did fail to mention a couple other things. In here you have a linen thread bow. I actually made this bow and attached it to one of our dots on the mini glue dot. And so I got that all prepped for you. The pieces used to decorate and embellish the miniature card, I used boho blue and punched out the bow punch. And then the designer series paper, I cut all 3 flowers from the Petal Park with the Petal Park punch. And then we have one Night of Navy one, the smallest one, out of the same punch. So now I think I got all the logistics done and we can start assembling our card. Now the beauty of this video is you can pause it at any time. You can rewind it. So if I go too fast, you can rewind that. At the end of the video, I'm going to share the product I have this month free if your order is $50. And this information is also in my email out to my customers. So let's get started with the card. So the card base in this, for the main card, is 8.5 by 5.5. It is already scored for you at 2 locations to create the Z fold. So we're going to create the Z fold like so. And then what we want to do is attach the card base inside layer to this layer here. That's going to be the texturized one. I like putting this one down first. So what you're going to do is use your favorite adhesive to adhere this. So you want to put your adhesive on here. And in this case, I'm going to just look at the 3 sides. I like to rotate this for a better view. And I'm looking for equal spacing on these 3 sides, and I let that side fall into place. Now, I failed to mention we fold this to a Z, so that's a mountain and valley. And we also want to bring this in and do a crease or a burnish on those folds. Now we want to take this smaller cardstock outside layer that is 1 7/8 by 5 1/4, and we're going to adhere this to this front panel. So I'm going to apply my adhesive to this and look for equal spacing on all 4 sides. I'm actually going to turn it this way. Usually I look on the diagonals to get my even, but I'm also looking at making sure that I place it equal here. That's why I like to put this layer down first, because then when I place this one down, I can make sure that I've got that lined up nice. So that's the first step we want to do here. Now we're going to work with the hidden card base. Now this one is 8.5 by 3. It's scored at 4 1/4. We're going to fold this and crease this with the bone folder. Now this is going to be my outside sentiment, and this is, or I have 2 outside sentiments. That's going to be one, and that's going to be on the inside. This is where I'm going to sign the card. So we want to attach these with our adhesive. So you can attach these, and I'm going to bring in the silicone craft mat. I have it handy right here. And I'm going to attach this and look for equal spacing on all 4 sides. Now I'm going to put this one on the outside. And as I mentioned about the video, it works out great that you can pause it if I'm going too quickly, as if you're trying to assemble it at the very same time. So this is going to be on the outside of the hidden card base. Now what we want to do is take this and attach it to the card base. So I'm going to turn it upside down. I'm going to put my adhesive on the back side of this. And now I'm going to open this up. the folds are all on the left side. And now I'm going to place this, look for equal spacing on the top and bottom, equal spacing on the right and left, and place this down. Okay, so now we have that down, and it opens with the fold up on the top. Now what we're going to do is close this like this, and now we want to take the top panels, and these dimensions are on your postcard, and they are as I mentioned, the deckled rectangle dies work perfect to cut these out, or you can cut them out with your paper trimmer. We're going to adhere these two together. Now what we want to do is attach this. We want to put this hidden card on first, because this panel is going to be where we have equal spacing on the top, the right side, and the bottom, and it is only going to be attached to part of this. So what we want to do is make sure that we don't get any exposed adhesive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this down right here, and this is just for placement and equal spacing top and bottom. Then I'm going to put my adhesive right here. I'm stopping before I get to the end of this, and I started before the top of that. So it's only in that area. I'm going to turn this over, put adhesive, on just one side of this. Now my adhesive's here and here. I'm going to hold this up so they don't touch each other until I visually see my equal spacing on those three sides, and then let this fall into place, burnish it down, and now it's a great way to have no exposed adhesive right here. Now this is the format for the card. The rest is embellishing the card. So I'm going to put this on first. I'm going to put this on, and because it's on 2 layers of cardstock here, and it's kind of higher here, I'm going to put 1 dimensional on that side of it, and then I'm going to put regular adhesive here. That way, and you got to take the backing off. That way, when I attach it, it gets it a little bit more even, and I'm choosing to have it in about this location. Okay, that allows that space there to be filled with a dimensional, and I have it adhered flat onto that part. Now these are the 3 pieces or elements that are going to go on the front of the card, and I am going to take my bone folder and just carefully add some depth to these by rolling the leaves up a little bit. You do want to be careful when you do this. You don't want to tear the paper, and this specialty paper is printed only on one side, and you have 2 that have that pretty peacock color in them, and then just 1 that's got the all copper. I'm going to attach these with mini glue dots. So what I'm going to do is just bring this, and sometimes what I like to do is bring the mini glue dot to the project, but I think what I'll do here is bring the mini glue dot, or sometimes I bring the project to the mini glue dot. In this case, I'm going to put the mini glue dots where I want them, strategic a little bit. I'm going to put this leaf right here. Then I'm going to turn this over and pick up these mini glue dots. Are really strong. They work out perfect. So you only need a couple. You don't need to put a lot of adhesive on when you have a strong adhesive. Now I'm going to put this one right like this. And then this last one that goes on the front, I'm going to attach. Well, it looks like maybe I only got 1 mini glue dot on that last one. And I'm going to attach this guy. Oh goodness, I just tore that. You know what? These mini glue dots are so strong. You know what I'm going to do? We're going to just tuck that underneath, and nobody's going to know that. So if you are new to my videos, you know that you don't know. I am not going to go back and edit that out. If that happened in real life, I wouldn't want to throw that out. It happened in real life, but if that happened when I wasn't creating a video, I would not have thrown that away. I would have used that. So I'm just tucking that underneath there, and nobody's gonna know that I actually accidentally tore that, because we want to salvage anything like that, especially a pretty paper. Now the last thing we're going to do for the front is use this bow that I've already tied for you. I folded this over so this exposed mini glue dot wouldn't get attached to anything. But what you want to do is take I'm sorry, take your pick tool and push this adhesive underneath. We want to get that adhesive to be underneath that knot. And then what we can do is attach this bow right to your project. And then what you can do is kind of work with that exposed adhesive. And also what you can do once you get it attached is just work it underneath the knot. And then if you add enough, tap it enough, you're going to get that adhesive to be tacky. It won't be strong anymore. So that's the front of the card. The only thing we have left for this card is to create a stopper. And the reason I put a stopper on there, I don't know if you can tell, but it stands on the table. This flops open. I want to have this closed a little bit, and but yet we don't want to close it so much that we don't have a way for the person you're giving it to know that it is there. And you know what I'm doing? I forgot to mention you need a paper snips. So I had one in reach. Okay, so I got distracted. So we want to have this here just to hold that a little bit. So what I'm going to do is on one side of your dimensional sheet, you have these smaller strips of the adhesive, or you can cut one in half. And what I'm going to do is turn this long end, and I'm just going to put that right on the edge of the card. So you can see the card will still open. And then I'm going to take the backing off. And then I'm going to place this leaf just so it overlaps a little bit of that. You can see it overlaps just a little bit so it can tuck underneath. I'm going to suggest when you sign the card, only close it like this when you give, and close it like this, because they may never know there's a message inside there. Let them see the message first, and then they can tuck it underneath so it stays there. So that is the Z-Fold Hidden Message card. Now we have the main card completed. We want to create this little assembly or little miniature card here. So these pieces are already cut and scored for you. So we want to create our Z-fold, so Mountain Valley. I'm going to take a bone folder and crease that. For the layering, we have designer series paper for that piece and designer series paper for this piece. So we want to attach the larger one first. This one I've called the card base inside layer for the main card. And what we want to do is assemble this one first. Because this piece is, I turn this over and work with the side. I can look at the right side, which is now across the top, and then the top and bottom. So I can attach that evenly and let that one fall into place. And then we're going to then attach this. When I attach this, I'm going to look that it's straight here and equally spaced on the two sides. So you want to use your adhesive, double-sided adhesive to attach this. And now, as I mentioned, I'm going to look that they're even and then equal here. So we have that part assembled. Now you have another Night of Navy strip that has a score. We're going to fold that, and you're going to take your bone folder and crease that. As I mentioned earlier, the beauty of this being on a video, you can pause this if I'm going too quickly. So on the outside, we're going to have this piece that has a stamped image. Now you could decorate this with more detail, And I failed to mention, be sure you keep about 1/4 of an inch away on the edge here so it's not visible when the card is closed. Very important. Same thing for this piece. Make sure it's got some spacing on it. You don't want to have your sentiment way over on the edge. And then the other one is for the inside where you would sign your card. So we're going to open this up and attach this one on the inside. Okay, now we're going to put adhesive on the back side of this and attach it to the card base, the inside card base here, right on this area. Look for equal spacing on the right and left, and then equal spacing on the top and bottom. Place that down. Now we're going to put the top layer or top panel layer on the top panel. We're going to adhere both of these, or I'm sorry, we're going to adhere the white to the night of navy and equal spacing here. Now what we want to do, maybe it's easier if I pull that out. Now what we want to do is close this, and this is only going to be attached on this one panel right here. It's only about the width of my adhesive. So what I'm going to do is move this down here, and I'm going to apply my adhesive right down here. And now what I'm going to do is hold this, look for equal spacing on the top and bottom, the same spacing here. Now I can let it fall onto that adhesive. So now my adhesive is not exposed there, and I've created my card like this. We're going to decorate it with these pieces in your packet. We're going to start out by putting this element down, and it's going to hang over the edge a little bit. So I'm only going to put a mini glue dot behind this leaf and that leaf because the other leaves kind of go off the side of the card, and you don't want adhesive on those. So I'm going to turn this over and put a mini glue dot on this leaf. And then I'm going to put a mini glue dot on the leaf right above it. And then I'm going to, these are really strong, gotta be careful. I'm going to attach this so it's behind this one, and I'm safe to attach those. Like I said, that's hanging over, so I'm not going to do that. Now what I'm going to do for the Designer Series paper flower pieces, what I'm going to do is carefully add some texture to those by rolling the petals up a little bit and crinkling them a little bit. I'm going to do the same with the medium flower and with the smallest flower. I'm going to put all 3 of these petals together to create my flower. Now in your packet you have 2 of the embellishments. The small one is going to be saved for the next flower we're going to work with. And I'm going to take the medium, or the larger of the 2, which happens to the medium in the package, and place this in the center of the smallest flower. Now I'm going to take a mini glue dot, put on the back of that flower, and then put that one inside the medium flower. So I'm just stacking these all 3 together. So I've got the small one inside the medium one. And I'm going to take the medium one, put a mini glue dot behind it, and put that in the largest one. Now you can decide if you want to put a dimensional on here and have that attached, or mini glue dots. I'm going to use mini glue dots. So I'm going to attach a couple mini glue dots to the back of the flower, and then going to put that right here, like so. So that's the front of the card. And now I want a little stopper for here. So I gave you this little flower. I am going to give it a little bit of texture, just by rolling up those petals a little bit. You could switch these little elements around, but I gave you the small one just to have a little decorative piece for this. And let's get that in the center. Okay, now this is going to only be holding that a little bit closed, and what we're going to do is do the same thing here, is take a half a dimensional or take a dimensional snipped from the edge of your dimensional paper. I turn this over so the edge of the dimensional is right below where that card opens, and then you're going to take your flower and put that here. So it just catches a little bit to represent where you put that stopper. Okay, so now what you can do is put adhesive on the back of this little postcard, and then you have the little miniature card that you can put on here. So I'm actually going to, I'll attach this. All right, so there you have the little miniature card for a visual, and you have the full-size card here. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is my thank you gift for a $30 purchase. If you place a $50 purchase, I have a card kit which has 12 8.5 by 11 coordinating cardstock colors, and the designer series paper is the Merry and Bright designer series paper, and this is like a Christmas theme on one side and then a holiday or a celebration theme on the other side, so you can use it either way. I'm going to be sharing some ideas on how to use those. And this month I have a additional gift to give for a $50 purchase. I'm going to give 3 of these page protectors that I have purchased from a company, and they work out perfect to put your card in one pocket, and then your postcard for your instructions in the other pocket. So you would have this month, next month, you flip it over here, then this is September, October, you can have my November project here, so you get 4 per page. I'm sending 3 of them, so you have enough for 12 months of the fun fold projects that I share with my customers who place orders with me. So I hope you enjoyed this month's project, and if you have any questions, please reach out to me. And thank you so much for placing orders with me. I appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would love to have you subscribe to my YouTube channel, and please reach out to me if you have any questions. Take care and happy creating.